What's going on, Aries? And welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're having a fantastic week so far. So, for those of you who I don't know what that was, so for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just amazing, Aries, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. Welcome. I'm happy how stuff has brought you here. We're in for an amazing journey. Because it's General Energy Weekly Spread. Or something like that, Aries. But with this weekly spread, whenever you happen to come across this video, there may be some messages in here for you. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one, so take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me. It never forces a reading on the situation, okay? So with all that being said, let's jump into it. Your space has been cleansed. Crystals, feeling lovely. Just great energy all around here, Aries. Now, Aries, I'm going to pull a few oracle cards from this deck here. It's a newer one. I've been excited. It's fantastic. I got some more coming. They're going to be working through the mix here, Aries. And then I'll get some details with them tarot. But before we jump into this thing, these readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations, okay? Thank you. And in case if y'all were curious, the decks that I'm working with, I've included links for them down in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you're interested. But also down below some links for some other readers that I like watching Aries, so check them out. Very intuitive group. One of them's an Aries. I like the energy that he brings. But let's go ahead and get into your first card here, Aries. Oh, and look at you, how appropriate, the Warrior. Oh, so you got the Warrior in reverse here, there, Aries. And this is a card of perfectionism and burnout. And I feel like for some, that we want to be, well, really for all of you, Aries, we do want to be mindful of doing things to such a degree that we do find ourselves kind of burning ourselves out, whether this be maybe you got a lot of stuff that we're taking on at work, or maybe just you got a lot of life stuff that's going on. You got your work, maybe you got kids, maybe we have, just like we're kind of juggling a lot of things, and it's like we have attacks coming from all sides here, but it's like you only got the one shield. It's like after a while, we might be blocking in front, but how's your sides looking? How's your back looking? And this gives me very kind of like Nine of Wands energy, that if we're not careful, we're just going to, because here's the thing, where you may have all that heat, Aries, and you might have that stamina, and where you might be able to push through things. It's just like, do we have to do that, to such a degree all the time? Really be on that emperor mode constantly, because that is exhausting. And I do feel for some when it talks about the perfectionism, I do feel like that sometimes when it comes to like the pursuit of a certain thing, it's just like we won't stop until it is perfect. Whether this is, what would be a good example? It's this perfectionism is giving me almost like this energy of trying to force something, and no matter what we do, it doesn't quite seem to work out, so we keep trying to no avail. And there may be a reason, like it's like there's a need to kind of step back for a little bit instead of like expending all of our energies. Because what I like to talk, especially I'm glad that we're using that I'm using this deck, because it kind of reminds me of that, like one relationship with a couple cards I like talking about is like the Knight of Wands and the Hanged Man. And with the Knight of Wands, he's the kings are, or the knights are fire, and the wands are fire. And the King of Wands is the fiery part of fire. He's got a lot of big energy at his disposal, but if he's just throwing it all out there and just kind of going without having to check in, it's the quickest way to a hangman situation, get you into this place where you're just burnt out and needing to just kind of reevaluate why we've been going at things so aggressively, if that's something that's resonating with you. But let me get some tarot on this, Aries, and get some details. because it's even kind of like another example is what just popped in my head is like, we're trying to work towards being a doctor, for example, and we work the long hours, you're doing all this studying and things, but yet you still can't quite seem to reach that goal. Something keeps getting in the way, and it's just like maybe that's the universe, not necessarily saying that we need to change careers, for example, but it's just like maybe the way we're going about it is just not as, it's not aligning with where you're really trying to go there. It's just like, again, something I feel like we're trying to force for some. And you know what, just even kind of seeing this Nine of Wands, I want to get your other cards, but I even feel maybe for some it's like something that might have been kind of put on you in a sense, that you were expected to achieve this level of excellence, or these things needed to be perfect all the time here. Maybe we had a strict upbringing, and now that's sort of like translated into your maybe adulthood, and it's just like now there's this, it's like we don't know how else to operate, try to how to take a seat back and all right, let me see what's going on with your energies here, Aries. And you got some intense cards here, because you got the Ten of Swords, the Nine of Swords, the Queen of Cups, and then the Adjustment card, Libra energy. And that's fascinating because, Venus is about to enter Libra here soon, your opposite sign. And so you're getting ready to go through an opposition with the Empress. And there may be some adjustments that might be kind of happening here when it comes to relationships, or maybe even to your finances, to maybe even challenges. Interesting. I even got an energy of like even maybe how we're expressing ourselves, because Venus deals with like beauty, and something about self-esteem really just kind of came through, and maybe even how we're reflecting of with others, and that might be for some, because the Queen of Cups, she is I like this Queen of Cups in this deck because she's impressionable by the energies of the cards around her, and considering that you have some intense cards like the Nine of Swords. This can be a card of just like really being in your head, kind of living a nightmare, just kind of your mind's constantly on assault here, trying to achieve this level of perfection, trying to get to this certain goal, trying to do whatever this is that may be translating from this card that's potentially leading you to ruin, with this Ten of Swords being here, getting you to the state of rock bottom, and with this Adjustment card, I do feel there is a need to kind of reevaluate how we've been approaching things. Have we really been, have things been balanced? Have we been, because even for some, maybe this is like you're trying to go for a promotion, let's say, and they got you working like crazy hours and things like that. And where I do understand wanting to get to this dream, is it worth putting yourself to this detriment because you won't be able to enjoy it, because you'll end up being too tired or too stressed or too all this all the time. And that might even be for some too. And again, I would never tell you to like quit your jobs, or maybe even like was even thinking like even quit a relationship even for some. But I feel like the Ten of Swords can be a card of betrayal as well, and I almost feel like we may be betraying ourselves in a sense, by living up maybe to other people's standards, whether this be through work, through family, through love. And it's just like we're reflecting all of these energies, but it's just like, when was the last time that you kind of really, you see how the Queen of Cups here is kind of veiled behind this mist, this fog. She's a very mysterious queen, but I feel there is this energy. When was the last time that you looked at yourself and just saw you, Aries, and kind of like because you see how serene her environment is. There's this stillness that's happening in her energy. And I feel, especially if you've been in this sort of like really kind of high mental energy, just sort of like just almost like I'm getting like even like a frazzled type of energy that's coming through here. It's just like, how can we get ourselves back in alignment? What changes do we need to make? Do we need to erect some boundaries? Do we need to do this? Like, what is that looking like? So, and the Queen of Cups too, really heavy card of self-care, Aries. So this is one especially, with where things are kind of going with this energy, making sure that you are taking care of yourself so that you can get yourself back in alignment here. But all right, I think I'm going to leave that there, Aries. So something to think about. All right, let's get another oracle on the mix. Interesting, Aries. Alright, so you have the Puppeteer card here, which is a card of explanations and apologies. And you know, Aries, I feel with this energy that maybe for some we've been in this, maybe we had a situation that kind of came up that had to deal with, because the ten, like I was saying, the Ten of Wands can be like a card of betrayal, and maybe we need to. It's giving me for some that there is this need to, maybe not necessarily, if someone's coming to you wanting to explain their actions in a sense, you know, that maybe you got burnt out on a relationship, or maybe you got where there was this I don't want to say this cruel energy, but something that may have put you in this like state of stress. Again, this is giving me maybe either some like, again, sort of like some kind of family vibes, or something along the lines of someone kind of really close where there's an explanation or maybe even apology that could be coming through, that it's not necessarily that we have to forgive, but maybe even hearing this person out could bring this closure in a sense, you know, and kind of, because the Ten of Swords as well can be kind of like heralding the end of illusions in a sense, you know, like feeling like we're been hmm and you know, that's even something too, Aries, that maybe for some it's like we're wanting some sort of apology to kind of come through here, or it's like, but I feel like it's like one that we may not be getting in a sense, that let me get some tarot on this. It's like we're wanting something, but it doesn't feel. I feel like it's like in order to get this balance, we may not. It's like making peace. Let me get some tarot on this, Aries. Or it's even giving me sort of like if this was like a family thing, for example. You know, where I would never say that, like how you may, let's say you had some sort of mistreatment or something. You know, we've all had those kind of like harsh kind of upbringings, and you know, something where like a parent figure could have done better, or, but it's just like I almost feel like that there is this explanation that it may not necessarily remove everything they may have done, but there's like an explanation that could be coming in that can bring some light, like that, you know, they reason they're operating this way because they receive, you know, they had a damaging relationship, let's say with their parental figure or something along those lines, and they even just letting that explanation, again, not necessarily maybe, you know, we made, you know, you always have free will, you don't necessarily have to forgive this person, but just so that we're not letting their behaviors control how you operate now, Aries, if that makes sense. But and this could even be too, Aries, maybe this is something that you may have said, maybe, you know, in the heat of the moment things got a little out of hand, you know, and if you're able to repair those bridges, you know, then I say, you know, why not? You know, if that's something that you want to do. But again, it's got to be something that you want to do. I feel it's not, don't feel like you have to be obligated or things, but, you know, there's, let me get your, let me get your last tarot card here. Let's see what's going on. Oh, you and Scorpio came through in a. I just got them doing their reading. They showed popped up in their reading because, and we were talking about opposites too. That's interesting. So you have the Eight of Cups, the Seven of Swords, the Ten of Disc, the Knight of Disc, which the Knights are the kings in this deck, Aries. And then you have you, Emperor. And let's start with the Emperor. Because I feel like with this, I I feel for some that if it was you who may have had some harsh things to say, Aries, maybe you got, again, fire energy is a tricky one because I got I'm my sun sign's in Cancer, but I have a stack of Leo, and sometimes that fire energy can come out in a way that if it especially it can catch off guard sometimes, and just like it can just come in a little hot, and I feel that for some, I feel like there's this energy of try not to let pride get in the way of, or maybe feeling even like this bit of embarrassment, even or something along those lines, to get in the way of mending a relationship, and thinking about that sort of long term effect that this may have, and understand too that how that perfectionism, no one is perfect. We may be trying to strive for that perfection, but again, we're going to make mistakes in this journey along the way, but it's just like, how do we learn from these mistakes there, Aries? And let me put you on top here. And I do feel though that there is this energy, because maybe for some others it's like we might be waiting for an apology, possibly, and it's taking maybe a little slower than you had expected here too. It's like it's almost this forceful energy that's kind of coming through here. It's like we want this thing, but I do feel like if it's not coming, Aries, and this might be something with the Eight of Cups, we might need to let this go. That may not be the time, because otherwise there's like we're kind of forcing this energy along here. I might need to get I might need to get a little bit more on that Seven of Swords there, Aries. But let me get a little bit more on that before I finish this little part up here. Because the Seven of Swords is giving me like this finding an alternative way of dealing with something. Not necessarily like that. Because it can be a card of deception, but yeah, but it gives me more of this energy of trying to find a different grounds, so that we're not holding on to some, so we're not staying like rooted. Because this Knight of Disc is even giving me this sort of stubborn energy, this like of being rooted in a certain way of thinking, like like, well, how come they don't let me get these clarifiers here. Oh, we were talking about that. So you have the Nine of Wands and the Seven of Swords clarified by the Nine of Wands and the Priestess, or the High Priestess. And the Priestess is the moon, and the moon deals with our emotions. And I even feel like for some, it's like we may be kind of putting off how we might be feeling even about something here, Aries. That's even fascinating. Like we're trying to almost like, now that deceptive energy is kind of coming through with the Seven of Swords, it's like we're trying to tell ourselves one thing, and again, that's like, I feel like it's kind of holding you back in a sense. It's keeping you anchored. This not, because maybe something did hurt you, or maybe we ended up hurting someone else in a way that and it almost feels like that your instincts are telling you, maybe even because the priestess can deal with like your intuition too, and it's almost feel like there's these signs here that's just like, go look for an explanation, or go try to, or have this level of understanding, or I am gonna pull out of that, Aries, but whatever this is, if we're waiting on an apology, maybe we need to apologize. I feel like it's about your, because I almost feel like the energies are almost saying this, just like think there may come a point where like you may not get the opportunity. Not that I feel like something's gonna happen, but like people could easily just move, or change contacts, or and you're never quite getting the closure that you need. So, all right, I think I'm gonna pull out of that Aries. So just little something to think about there. That was little intense energy there. But let's get your last card. Hmm. Oh, interesting. So, Aries, you got the Smith card in reverse here, which is a card of overthinking and taking action. And so, we were kind of talking about that. Like, maybe for some, we might be overthinking a situation as far as maybe with this, like, explanation or this apology or something like that. It's just like, do we really want to let a bridge burn? Or is there a way that, and this may not even be, it may not be something where it was like your fault, but and you may say, like, why won't this other this other person in this situation take this initiative? But it's just like I feel like there's an explanation that can be found in that if we were to hmm if you were to ask their Aries. And I get that that can be, but here's two, if like if hmm I just I feel a slight regret energy coming through here, Aries. That I'm even getting an energy of like it's like you may even be maybe we expected someone to be perfect. I'm like I'm gonna go back to like that parent one, for example. We can put our parents on such high pedestals and see them as this embodiment of perfection, but their spirits going through human experiences just like we are. And we all fumble, we all make mistakes, and we but it's like it's just like how do we grow from that? And it's just like are we gonna carry that weight? And maybe like let me get some let me get some tarot on this, Aries. That's, yeah, definitely more overthinking energy because you got the Prince of Swords here, and say Scorpio, but you got the Prince of Swords, and he's the princes are air and the swords are air in this deck, so he's the airy part air, so he's always thinking. And yeah, I feel like even for some, it's just like maybe we've because there's a certain conversation that hasn't been had, like there's a need to kind of hear someone out in a sense. It's just like did we maybe in this fight or maybe this argument that things didn't quite come through as well. Maybe we're very aggressive, just kind of coming in like kind of locked in. But okay, so let me see what's going on here. Interesting. Oh, and there's wifey. That's fascinating too. So you have last little bit, Aries. So you have the Queen of Disc, the Prince of Swords, the Six of Swords, the Sun card, and the Death card here. And let's switch back over. Because this is interesting, Aries. You know, I feel with the Death card being here that there is this things change all the time, Aries, and people change, and we may have had this one vision in your head about how someone may have been, but then, something I don't know. It's like we're kind of seeing things in a different type of light, and I feel like that something here without this sort of proper explanation or maybe this apology or something along those lines. It's like we're seeing things in a new light, but it's the light feels tarnished in a sense with the sun being here, and that's because I feel we may be overthinking something, or maybe even not quite thinking as it's like that we're so because the Six of Swords can be like this directed knowledge. It's very kind of pinpointed thing, and it's just like we may be focused on one type of thing as opposed to seeing a situation as a whole here, and that's preventing this something from moving on here. It's because that's interesting too that you got divine counterparts there with the Queen of Disc and the Knight of Disc, because they're considered a very stable couple, but now it's like the stability has shifted in a sense, and it's like neither it's like this Queen of Disc doesn't quite know what to do to move to get this Knight of Disc to move or to kind of open up their mind, or maybe or it might even be something different where it's just like the King of Disc is because she's looking out to new horizons here, and maybe the Knight of Disc doesn't know how to keep her get her to stay. I'm not like that's very interesting there, Aries. I think um hmm I just feel like that my if you want my 2 cents, and as you know, I'm just gonna kick it with you regardless. But I feel that if when it comes to this whatever this relationship is or this thing that because this is a lot of thinking energy, and I feel like that's what might be burning you out here too, Aries. That if you're okay with things just sort of being and just sort of falling out, then let the chips fall where they may. If you want to take action, something is compelling you, you're feeling that, your instincts are just screaming at you, take action, But I feel like on either end, just be ready for what that means. Whether you may not hear the explanation that you want, or you might hear exactly what you need to hear. It's just going to be a chance, and if you leave, how do we not let that become a weight? Like bring you down. How do we keep moving forward? How do we step towards the sunlight and with this new? All right, Aries. I think I'm gonna leave that there. So this is very interesting energy, but if anything resonated with it, if you like that, Aries, give it a thumbs up and share this if you know someone who might be going through something, or because even that puppeteer is even giving me this energy of like something is controlling you in a sense. Like he's got these two people here. The string is going through their hearts. Like this could be a love thing, maybe. I don't. Yeah, apply it if it. Don't force Aries, but And if you haven't already, there, Emperor, subscribe, hit that bell button to get notified when I release videos each week. And then last little bit, because I'm about to get back into your reading. If you have, because you got our ruler here, if you have any Cancer in your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, come on over to the Chariot and Friends. I do videos Monday through Friday there. We discuss lunar shenanigans, and it's a good old time. And all that housekeeping is down in the description box below. But let me get you surprise cards here. So I can get you out of here. Alright, so you have, and that's fascinating too. So you have the Prince of Disc here. The knight, the knight and the queen's disc, oldest boy. And this is the princes of the knights in this deck. And considering again just how stable the disc family is, I do feel like that just with the death card is something I feel like is changing, and it's like a new light, and that's interesting. You got the sun here and Scorpio. Sun's in Scorpio right now. So I feel like there is this energy of things are changing. Maybe this is the perception of maybe like our, again, maybe our parents or parental figures, or maybe those of who we held in such high esteem, or who were any sort of like authorities or mentors in our life possibly. But it's like the balance is shifting, and I feel that this there's like this, it's like the Prince of Disc is like trying to keep this facade up, or keep this energy of wanting to be strong, but there's this touch of loneliness. I almost feel like that's kind of coming through here. That was there's something to think about there, Aries. Well, let me get your oracle card here so I can get you out of here. Thank you. All right, so you got the not for you card here, Aries. And that's interesting too, because the sixth card is lover's energy in the tarot. And, you know, for some, if you're thinking, you might not want to reconcile, because this fortune cookie is so silly. It's got a nope that's sticking out of it. And, maybe for some, it's just like, nope, we're good on this. It's fine. And again, if that's where you're at with that, okay. I've been there, totally been there. And if you, but I feel like considering it's a chessboard, I feel like it's think about the future. Going forward. How that means. I get where if something is not for you, making yeah, how you respond to this, Aries. Really pay attention to how you feel. With this. If something doesn't resonate with you, if you're not feeling like if you're not trying to hear any kind of explanations, any kind of apologies, maybe this is something where let me think about it. But and ultimately you got to go with what your gut's telling you, High Priestess. So, yeah, I just say I will say, Aries, just pay attention to how that affects you going forward, because but it's just something to think about. You stay safe out there, Aries, because your energy's been interesting here lately. I'm not sure what kind of shift is, and I feel like it's probably because your ruler is in Scorpio right now. So you might be feeling like a lot of changes might be happening. You might be kind of noticing things a little bit different. Something's kind of shifted with your energy. So just be mindful of that. And you raise your vibration through the roof. Queen of Cups, big card of self care. You know, especially if you've been in this burnout, overthinking. Do some things to relax. Get by some water. We were talking about that stillness. Get by something to kind of a quiet area. Maybe go lie in the sunlight if that's possible. Get grounded. Go out and go by the countryside. Kick it with the Knight of Disc. But all right, Aries, and I will catch you on the next one. Later.